President Obama is denouncing the recent terror attack in Mali. This morning, he is in the Malaysian capital of Kuala Lumpur for an Asian summit. The big issues include the now global fight against ISIS and the growing dispute over who owns what in the South China Sea. Margaret Brennan is traveling with the president. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. Well, the president's trip here was supposed to cement his legacy of pivoting away from the Middle East and toward Asia. But the terror attacks in Mali and in Paris have snapped his attention back to that terror threat and to a controversy over refugees.
President Obama called the brutal attack in Mali appalling.
The United States will be relentless against those who target our citizens. We will continue to root out terrorist networks. We will not allow these killers to have a safe haven.
A similar vow to one he made just days after the Paris terrorist attacks, when he was pressed on whether the U.S. campaign against ISIS needs an overhaul.
There will be an intensification of the strategy that we put forward, but the strategy that we are putting forward is the strategy that ultimately is going to work.
Throughout this week-long around-the-world trip, the president has tried to focus on opportunity in Asia. He arrived here with a hard-won trade deal in hand and a promise that the U.S. will help offset China's dominance. But that's been overshadowed by the global terror threat and a firestorm back home over his decision to take in thousands of Syrian refugees.
Hi, guys. How are you?
The president tried to put a human face on the controversy during a visit with refugees in Kuala Lumpur.
When I sat there and talked to them and they were drawing and doing their math problems, they were indistinguishable from any child in America. The notion that somehow we would be fearful of them, that our politics would somehow leave us to turn our sights away from their plight is not representative of the best of who we are.
Vanita, the president's trip here is supposed to wrap up tomorrow. Then it's back to Washington to meet with the French president for talks about how to intensify the military campaign against ISIS.
Margaret Brennan in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia this morning. Thank you, Margaret.